like to introduce to you James Andrew, who is working currently with NYU in their VR department and who I believe is doing a lot of things in the space. And James.
Thank you very much. Cool. Yes. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is right here. Breaking free from physical walls in virtual spaces. Experiences in the Holodeck so far. I'll get to what the Holodeck is in a minute. But what I'm really interested in is this concept of breaking free from physical boundaries. So, I'm James Andrew. I'm the founder of Pixel Router VR. We are a small independent game studio who has a game called Zone, which we call the first great arcade shooter for virtual reality, and that's on its way to making it to the Sony Morpheus, the PlayStation 4 next year, and also the Oculus Rift and the Gear VR, a bunch of other platforms. But right now we're just taking it around to various shows and events and getting such an amazing response over the last year and a half that it's just building and building momentum. I've been coding since I was 8 years old on a Commodore 64. We have another one in the house, yes, sir. And we have like a very almost identical pedigree like that. And I love creating and sharing beautiful experiences. And VR is fantastic for this. I've always used computers for that. I always wanted to make cool things and show them to people, and VR is such a great way to do that. Okay, I'm going to show a little video of Zone itself. And this will dovetail into how I got working with NYU and with Ken Berlin down there, and here it is.
Like if you've ever had a lucid dream, it's exactly like that. I don't even know what to say. Like the level design with the music, I just felt so immersed in the experience. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
That was incredible. It's hard to imagine that you're actually in the real world at the same time. It's incredible. There's almost no other way to describe it.
This is it, you know? This is the future. You know, this is reality. It's the greatest, it's one of the greatest things I've played, you know?
That was incredible, and that was awesome. Best experience I've played video games with. Awesome. Just awesome. All I have to say, awesome. Awesome.
No, dude, I'm so tired. Like this, I'm happy. What do you feel right now?
I feel like I just got thrust into a new world. That's the only way I can explain it.
I feel sad because now I'm back in real life, and it's not the same. It's unfair that I'm really only going to be able to play this once, because I can play this like 1,000 times, and I feel like I still won't be able to really see everything that you put into this. Where can I find you so I can play this one more time?
Here in Gadget Expand, I want everyone to get in here and play this, but it's tough because there's a line.
He's on fire.
Let me know.
231 speed, still going. Yes, yes. Oh, awesome run, man.
It was probably one of the most intense games I've ever played.
That's Zone, right? And that's the bread and butter of Pixel Router VR. That's how we're looking to make a big impact in VR in terms of getting a product out there. But along the way, I ended up meeting these guys here, and this is a room at NYU that we call the Holodeck. And what you see all around the edges of the ceiling are these little, looks like little lights, but those are motion capture sensors. And so what that is, what that means is that now we have real-time, full-room motion tracking in VR. So this is something that Dr. Ken Perlin founded and figured out how to do or conceived the idea of. And what he got is wirelessly streamed motion tracking to Samsung Oculus Gear VRs. So the motion capture data will make it into these Gear VRs, so when you put on a Gear VR in this space, it knows exactly where you are. That means that it can sense your emotions, and you can do all sorts of cool new things. Also, it's able to track real-life things in the space. So we can put tables in there, various things in this space, and then they will be there in the virtual world. So let me show you an example of that.
So he's seeing this table in the virtual world, and he's able to interact with it and move around and touch it
Because it's really there in virtual world and real world.
What we were seeing in the Gear VR there was a table. Was a table in the room. It looked like there was a table, and you could walk up to it in VR and reach out and touch it, and what you would feel is a table. And that was really, really cool. It's just a table right now, but that's really significant. Because what other kind of things might we do by putting objects, real physical objects, in a virtual space? So, when you first put on the Gear VR in the Holodeck, this is what you see. The Holodeck. It's a virtual representation of the physical space. And even that alone is really cool. I mean, in this room, imagine if you put on the Gear VR and what you saw right away was this around you. It's really a pretty interesting phenomenon. Even that, just being in a physical space, putting on the Gear VR, and you're still in the place that you were just a moment ago, and you can walk around. You can walk up to the walls. You can walk up to the wall and put your hand out and touch one of those foam pads, and you feel the foam pads, but you're seeing it in virtual reality. And even that right there is really, really incredible. But what we do have there are, remember those arrows point to, walls. There are walls. So what do we do about that? It's not a huge space, so what do we do if we want to feel like we're in a space that's bigger than the one we're actually in? So these physical walls, they are really there, and they are a major constraint on our possible experiences. It's like, all right, you can do anything you want in virtual reality as long as it takes place in a room. So how can we mitigate that? How can we get beyond that? How can we break free from these walls? So the first idea that I had was what I call the sunroof idea. Let's just roll down the walls and open the roof, revealing a much larger world outside. At least that will make me feel like I'm breaking out of this box that I'm in. And so here's the idea. So I brought this to the Holodeck, and when there, we were able to put on the Gear VR and walk around, and we could even walk to the edge and kneel down and look over into the water where I had a fish swimming around. So this is Atlee, one of the girls from the group there, who's on the ground looking at the fish swimming by because I just rolled down the walls and revealed this world of water outside. And it was really, really cool. It made the world feel much, much larger, but we were still stuck on a small dock in the middle of a big lake because I rolled the floor in, so it shrunk in. And you could go to the edge and you see water, and you didn't want to step off because there was water there, and so that was kind of cool. But then I started thinking, how can we make the space we walk in feel bigger? So I want to talk for a moment about an idea that Ken brought up one day. Ken Brown, who's running the show down there, he's the one that set all this up. He has this idea, his mirror idea. And it goes like this. Place a mirror on the wall in VR. So you got your Gear VR on it, and you're in a place. Place a mirror on the wall, and when you walk up to it, what you see is you see yourself reflected, but in another place. And then imagine you could reach your hand out and touch your own hand in the mirror, and that would cause you to travel to the other place. So what would happen is we do a switch there, where then you would see yourself reflected in the place you just were, and you turn around and be in a new place in a new world. That's kind of cool. So I'm in a room that looks like the room I was just in when I put the gear on. I can go up and look at, maybe there's more than one mirror, go up to one, touch one, and now all of a sudden it kind of turns inside out, and now I'm in that other place looking in a mirror where I just was. I thought, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. However, while I can't wait to try it, it's a little too technically ambitious for me at this time. Because you gotta make mirrors, you gotta see your reflections in them, and you gotta do all this on Gear VR, and that's just a little bit more than I can fight off for a second demo. Maybe for a third or fourth, I can't wait to try it, it's gonna be awesome. So the key aspect there is turning around. Because you went up to the mirror and you touched it, it's the natural thing to do to turn away from the mirror. So what I'm drawing from this, the reason that works, it works well, is because it's making it feel natural to turn around. Because that's going to be a key component of any good technique for making the physical space feel larger. You can't do anything about the fact that there's a wall there, but if you can make it feel normal and feel not weird to turn around every once in a while, how can you get people to do that and make it feel natural to do that? That's going to make the space feel bigger. So, the idea I had, elevators. When you get in an elevator, you do it all the time. You get in an elevator, a little room opens up, you walk in, you press a button, you turn around first, then you press the button, it opens up, and you're in another place, and you walk out, and you don't think anything of it. And that's actually a really powerful idea for virtual reality. Because even if we're in a small space, if we can make it feel like we've got spaces stacked on top of each other, we can be in a really, really large space. So this is the basic idea I have. This is my first little drawing. Some people draw on napkins. I draw in a program called Cinema 4D. It's just real quick to just draw a sketch. And so if this is the room here, the space, the whole space of the holodeck, I thought if we put something like this, where on either end of the room, you put a platform, it's like an elevator. And when you get out up top and you turn around, there's another elevator on the other side. You can make it feel very, very natural to walk across the room, get in one of these elevators, go up to another level, and then you're in a whole other place and it feels natural to walk the other way. And then you can repeat this. And by doing this, what my idea would be that even though we would not actually be going up and up and up, but rather we'd be making the world go down and down and down, so we're always on the floor, it would feel really cool. It would feel like we really were getting getting elevated out of the room that we were just in. And so I set out to try it. So this is the model in Unity of what I planned on building. And do you recognize this down here? This is the holodeck. This is floor 1. And so I already knew I had the ability to bring this in down to NYU and bring the Gear VR in and get it hooked up so that I could walk around in the space anywhere. And I already rolled down the windows and we could look outside at the water. But now I got this whole set up and I set it up to be able to drop down and reveal elevators that will take you up and up and up and up into the clouds. And so now I'm going to show the video of what happened when I brought this in there last Thursday. So here I am at 2 Metro Tech Center, the Holodeck here at NYU. Dr. Ken Perlin has a really great thing going. He's doing some really pioneering and I would say singular virtual reality research right now. We have a complete sub-millimeter accuracy motion capture tracking volume, a 25 by 25 foot space combined with multiple Gear VRs wirelessly receiving the motion capture data. What that means is that multiple players can be in a virtual space collaboratively and can interact with one another, and it's all wireless. There's still that reality that those walls are there. So what are we going to do to break free of these walls? What are we going to do so that even though our space is limited, we can have some really cool experiences that make us feel that we are in a much more expansive environment. I want to feel like I'm not limited by the constraints of my physical surroundings. I want to feel like I'm in big places like this.
The other update that's trying to happen based off the cameras is pretty much doubling that resolution. That's what it looks like, something like that.
So we have orientation data and tracking data coming in from over here. And so now we don't need to control anymore, we're walking around. So the next thing to do is to try it. How cool is that? So now we're gonna be able to walk around. Let's do it. All right.
Oh, this is awesome. Nobody's gotta try this.
Now I'm in the Swedish sauna.
Yeah. Keep going.
Oh, there's another elevator. Those of you watching at home, this is very cool.
All right, who's up? Who wants to try this?
I'll go.
I'm in between you and the wall.
Okay.
Okay, turn around, get in the elevator, go up.
No? You're just gonna walk over? Yeah, you can go over there. Yeah. Okay, you're good.
Oh, that's awesome.
We call this extra dimensional space. Did you make it back down?
Yeah, I call it really cool.
Leave it in for 1 minute. It'll be good.
That wasn't very fast.